welcome to all of our students. We are going to get started here in just a second, but in the meantime, if you could all just give us a quick shout out, let us know that you're here and maybe put your major in the chat or where you're from, what city you're from, that would be awesome. So go ahead and type that into the chat for us. We'd love to see you. And we'll get started here in just a second. Welcome Calvin, Philip, Colby, Alyssa, Maria, Angie, Daisy, let's see, Diego, good to see you all, Daniela. All right, we're seeing Philip, Forestry, Santa Maria, Colby. We've got business from Lompoc. All right, Lindsay from Sacramento, biological sciences. That's so awesome, all over. Sacramento architecture, Fatima. All right, Dukel, I hope I'm saying that right. From San Diego, major is biochem. All right. Got a lot of Santa Maria students, that's great. Local, Litzy, Andrew, Nadim, Jessica, Justin, thanks so much. Aurora. That is so great. We got quite a few from Sacramento, San Leandro, Santa Maria area as well. That is so awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing. Oh, look, we got a San Diego student, architecture, Natalie. All right, Ruby Cruz, Santa Maria, construction management. Welcome Rosa from Lompoc, majoring in political science. Kayla from Sacramento, graphic communication. All right, we have such an amazing group of students here. Thank you all so much for sharing where you're from and all of your majors. Jonathan from Sacramento, computer science, awesome. All right, well, welcome everybody. So we will go ahead and get started. It looks like most of our students have probably logged on at this point. So we'll go ahead and get started with our virtual welcome reception for Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Welcome to everybody from all over the state of California. We're so excited to have you here tonight. My name is Mandy Martin, everybody. I am an admissions officer and strategic partnerships coordinator here at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And I just wanted to basically say welcome and thank you so much for taking time out of your day tonight, you and your families, to join us and learn more about the campus. A little bit about me is I'm from the Central Valley of California. I actually moved to San Luis Obispo about 6.5 years ago to work at Cal Poly, and I have stayed here ever since because I fell in love with the campus, the area, it's beautiful here, and with the community. The people are absolutely amazing, so supportive and kind, so I really could not ask for a better place to call home. So that is a little bit about me. Welcome to all of our newly admitted students from all over the state, to your parents and supporters. We also really just want to take a second to acknowledge everything that's happening in the world right now with COVID-19, coronavirus. We know that it really is very uncertain, just scary times that we're all dealing with. And so we just want to say that we hope that you and your families are safe and healthy. That is the #1 priority. And really that's the reason that we developed this virtual reception. We may not be able to meet with you in person because of the COVID-19 policies that are in place, but we do want you to know that Cal Poly is here for you. We really want to welcome you to the Mustang family and do everything in our power to make sure that you have all the information that you need to make a great decision for college. So that's why we developed this event, especially for you. We've never done this before, but we developed this virtual reception to make sure that all of our newly admitted students will get their questions answered. So first and foremost, congratulations to all of our newly admitted students. We are so excited for you. You deserve a round of applause. You have worked so hard to get to this point. You really spent a lot of time throughout your high school career having amazing academics, studying for those exams, and putting in the time to be admitted to Cal Poly. And just to really share with you how competitive it is to get into Cal Poly, just this year we had a little over 46,480 applicants just within the state of California. So over 46,000 applied, and we were able to select a little over 12,500 students for admission. So if you do the math there, our acceptance rate is close to about 27%, which means it is extremely selective. So again, congratulations, you earned it, and we are so excited for you. And then secondly, we also want to thank all of the parents and supporters, family that is here tonight supporting your student. We really appreciate all of the time and effort that you've spent throughout the year supporting your student, and all of that love and support you've provided them, because we know that family is the #1 priority, and nobody does it alone, right? So thank you so much for really just being there to support your student through all of this. So just a few quick housekeeping items before we dive into our program tonight. Quick reminder, for the Zoom application that we're using, we're just asking that all of our student participants go ahead and make sure that you're on mute at this point. We're going to be playing a video and kind of sharing some different panelists will be speaking. So we just want to make sure there's not any sound overlap. But if you do want to leave your video on, you are more than welcome to do that. We know some of you might be excited to see other students from your high school or other students from your local area, and we would love to see your face. So if you want to share your screen, you're more than welcome to do that if you want to leave your video running. But again, just make sure that sound is on mute, and we would really appreciate that. One other thing is that you are all more than welcome to be asking questions the entire evening in that chat box. So starting now all the way through the end, we want you to ask us any question that comes to mind, because again, this is for you. This is to get your questions answered, so don't be shy. We have a team of admissions representatives who are here just waiting for those questions to come rolling in. So please feel free at any point to type in those questions into that chat box. So now that we've gotten done with those housekeeping items, let's talk about why we're doing this event. Really the purpose of this event is to share with you a little bit about Cal Poly, some important dates and deadlines, and also to introduce you to some Cal Poly proud individuals, our special panelists who are here tonight, who are going to talk a little bit more about Cal Poly and their experiences and how they're connected, and just really share more with you about the campus. And then we will have an open Q&A session towards the end, where we will actually have live questions and answers with our panelists. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And just as a little heads up, there also will be prizes. If you submit questions, you will be entered into a raffle to maybe win a prize. So that is a little bit of motivation for you to interact and engage and get those questions in the chat box. So just a quick little intro to Cal Poly. We are located here on the beautiful central coast of California. To all my local students, you know right where we're at. We're pretty nearby Santa Maria and Lompoc. To all of my Sacramento students, about 5 hours from you. San Diego, give or take about the same. We're in between San Francisco and Los Angeles, and we are about 10 minutes from the ocean. So that is the best part. We're near Pismo Beach, Avila Beach, Morro Bay. It's absolutely gorgeous. Stays in the mid 70s almost the whole year round. A fun fact is that it is also ranked the #1 college town in America. And that is based on real survey feedback from alumni and students across the entire country. That was a ranking that was done by collegerankings.net. And then one last fun fact I'll share with you is that Cal Poly is also ranked best in the West, or #1 when you're looking at public master's degree level campuses. And that has been for 27 years in a row. So I know a lot of you are probably wondering, you know, what does Cal Poly have to offer me? You definitely have heard about the strong academics and maybe the hands-on learn by doing curriculum, the ability to start in your major day one. Well, we want to share just a little bit more with you and give you a sneak peek into Cal Poly and this place in San Luis Obispo that you could call home for the next 4 years. We're going to go ahead and play a little video for you.
How you start each new day says a lot about you. At Cal Poly, we begin as we always have, by putting knowledge into action. We call it learn by doing. And for more than a century, we've made this idea the center of everything we do. We believe that experience is part of the curriculum. We don't see any difference between education and the real world. We know that it's the best way to learn and keep learning for the rest of our lives. So when we begin our day, we dive right in, head first and hands on, because we're not satisfied to sit on the sidelines of our own education. And we know that if we want to make an impact on our world tomorrow, we have to put in the work today. If at first we don't succeed, we rework, rearrange, reimagine, redesign, rethink, rebuild, and refuse to give up. Because our state, our nation, and our world need us to be ready from day one, to take what we learn by doing and use it to help build a brighter future. How you start each day says a lot about you. How you spend your day says even more about how you'll start your career and how you'll live your life. Because it's one thing to be ready one day, and it's quite another to be ready day one.
All right, students. So hopefully you all enjoyed that nice little intro into Cal Poly's campus. So next we want to introduce our panelists who are Cal Poly proud individuals, from staff to an alumnus to students to different people all over campus that are here to really share with you a little bit more about Cal Poly. So our first person we'd like to introduce is Juan Vergara, who is a third year English major at Cal Poly. So we'll go ahead and pass it over to Juan.
Oh, hello everyone. I'm Juan. Like Mandy said, I'm an English and a Spanish double major with a minor in music. So life is pretty busy sometimes, but it's pretty worth it. I am a third year. I do quite a bit of things on campus. I recently joined the Cal Poly debate team, specifically in the Spanish division. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the things that made me feel safe. It's one of the things that I found comfortable in. You have group of friends outside of class, outside of classes, and your major, but just like having this one group related to something on campus was pretty fun. I'm also involved with intramural. I do intramural volleyball, which is a pretty fun way to pass the time. It's really helps you get the stress out from a busy day or from homework, which it doesn't take too much of your time, but it is pretty worth it if you want to stay connected to a sport that you played in high school, or I am from the Central Valley as well, specifically the city of Delano, where the famous Cesar Chavez is from. I Let's see, fun facts about me. I'm the first generation student, the oldest of my family, first to go to college. It was pretty nerve-wracking at first, but it's turned out to be a fun experience. I absolutely love flow, and San Luis Obispo. It's like one of the best areas you can be in. You have beautiful view every day. Every day that I wake up, I look out my window and I have a view of some of the mountains there, and it's just so nice and beautiful. You can't really it doesn't get old. It's just there. It's always there. And then you have a lot of hiking to do, which is pretty fun. I haven't done as much as I'd like, but I have done quite a bit of hiking, and it's really fun. You get a better view from an elevated position and stuff. The beach is really close. So yeah, it's a pretty fun area. There's a lot to do. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about myself.
Thank you so much for sharing, Juan. We appreciate that. And our next panelist is Dr. Jamie Patton, who is Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs, Diversity, and Inclusion.
Sorry, my age, I was muted. I wasn't ready. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Jamie Patton. My preferred pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm humbled to serve as your Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs with a focus on diversity and inclusion. I joined Cal Poly nearly 2 years ago, and my role and my job is truly to help to cultivate a healthy campus climate where everyone and there can be their unique and authentic self. In addition, I work with university partners across the campus to make sure everyone feels welcome here at Cal Poly. Cal Poly reminds me so much of my undergraduate institution on the East Coast. I moved 3 hours away from home as a first generation college student to a place where I didn't know anyone, a place where I had to create new memories, create new friendships, and again, create new meaning of what it meant to be a college student. Despite the small number of students, I managed to find ways to build community. And although the environment was much different than where I grew up, I settled in and I was able to turn the university into my home away from home. I achieved in the classroom and connected with faculty who supported me and supported my experience. And most of all, they believed in me. You'll find the same kind of nurturing and supportive of community here at Cal Poly. Our faculty and staff want to see you thrive, whether it's programming and services that match the in-class experience that you'll have, and or the different aspects of programming services to help you academically and financially, the events, the opportunities to help you build community. Again, we have a variety of different resources that contribute to your educational and personal well-being. One of the things that I'm excited about Cal Poly and what continues to impress me is the connections that you'll be able to make with faculty. Our faculty are world-renowned, and they want to see you succeed. It's something that's called a teacher-scholar model and not a scholar-teacher model, where students are truly first. We want to see the experiences that you have, your ability to work with faculty and research projects, both in the sciences and liberal arts, to across the university landscape. The connections that you're able to build with faculty, I have no doubt that after your first quarter, you'll have at least 1 to 2 that you'll remain in contact with for the duration of your time here at Cal Poly. What also impresses me is our students and the dynamics of our students and the demographics of our students. When you think about over just about 1,000 students that volunteer their second and third year and giving back to be orientation leaders and help new students be welcome through our week of welcome. When I think about the opportunities that students take advantage of with regard to service learning through our campus and or serving other communities, many students definitely get involved. 50% of our students, and this is one fact that I'm always amazed, over 50% of our students do community service. Think about giving back not only to County and community, but giving back to communities through programs and missions like Hometown Heroes and different opportunities for you to give back in very unique ways. Our students love this experience. And the 93% of our students are working directly in their field after graduation. That's huge, and I'm hopeful that your supporters, your parents and supporters hear that again, you'll be on track to succeed. It makes me no more prouder when I hear about a student that after their first quarter get an internship with Google, and then next summer they have another internship with another Fortune 5, that they're able to build their dreams. So by the time they get to their senior year, by the time you get to your senior year, you'll be talking about viable job offers based off the internships and the learn by doing opportunities that you will have here. We often think of physical space when we talk about community, and community right now is very special, especially for me, you know, as we work through this world pandemic that is occurring, and know that our city, our town, and our campus will be here for you. When you talk about the Mustang family, that's real. That's why even now, even today, over 100 volunteers are calling our students, our current Mustangs, just to see how they're doing, making sure that they're ready to be in a virtual environment. Not because we have to, but just because we want to make sure that they're able to succeed in the coursework and the classes that they'll be taking for the duration of this year. Honestly, I look forward to having students back on campus. This is an odd time for me. I've been in higher education for over 20 years. But know that we're building activities, and I'm looking forward to the virtual opportunities that we'll benefit from. We're definitely going to learn about this experience, and it's going to make your experience here at Cal Poly that much more better. We want to always match the quality of our out-of-class academic experience to that class experience. So again, when I talk about ways to get involved, way to grow in diverse ways and learn more about you, learn about intersectionality, learn about the many different things that will prepare you to propel and get and to succeed in life and help your families. Most of all, you're going to get that here. And I'll just close with this one piece of Vice. I'm blessed to be able to connect with y'all. And again, congratulations on this amazing achievement of being accepted not only to college, but just to a school like Cal Poly. But I encourage you, no matter what school you attend, to use every resource made available to you. So the individuals that are here on this in this virtual reception, know that we're resources. Now, we might have to get you connected to a different office or a different space, but we're a resource that's available to you. At Cal Poly, we have things like student academic services, we have supplemental instruction, tutoring, all types of ways to help you succeed academically. We have the cross-cultural centers, we have the Center for Leadership and Action that will help you learn how to give back and develop those leadership skills. We have departments like the career services that will that host a variety of different career fairs that you can participate in from day one. And so, okay, I'm a dad, so I always got to give out one piece of cheesy advice. You don't have to wait until your senior year to visit our career services department. They are there for you and they want to support you from day one. When we talk about ready, you have all the needed resources to succeed both at Poly and at life. The tools that you can give back to your community, your supporter, and those who you love. So with that, again, learn by doing is incomplete without diversity and inclusion, and you bring a very important perspective to our campus. So again, congratulations, and I welcome you to the Mustang family. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patton. We appreciate you sharing that. And then our next panelist up is Dr. Josie de Leon, Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion and Chief Diversity Officer.
Good evening, everyone. I am delighted to join you. I am the Vice President for University Diversity and Inclusion. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I have been at Cal Poly for almost 3 years. And I came here because of the wonderful university that Cal Poly is, and also because of the type of community in which it's located. I am a first generation college student. I had to navigate my way to college because I had no one to really help me find my way. I was also a transfer student from a community college. And so once I got to the university, I found out that it just opened a whole new world for me. And I hope that your experience at Cal Poly will do the same. I really congratulate you for being at this point where you're looking at us and you're thinking about us seriously, and you're deciding on whether or not you're going to join us and be here. I was so happy to see so many of you that come from the surrounding area, because you know us already, and it just makes it that much easier when you have already been to campus, seen us, and know what we're about. So the first thing I want to say is that diversity is extremely important to Cal Poly, not just in the demographic of our students, but really in every way, creating diverse experiences, really creating a space within the university where all students, and especially our students from diverse communities, feel that they can thrive and feel that sense of belonging. That's very, very important to us. Our focus is not just diversity, but more importantly, for students to feel that they are just as valued as anyone else, especially our students from what we call traditionally underrepresented groups, and that they feel that their whole university is theirs. We want them to know, we want you to know that you matter. And you'll see that echoed, and hopefully you will feel that as well, coming from faculty, staff, and others on this campus. So the Office of University Diversity and Inclusion, what do we do? Our primary role and responsibility is to lead, oversee, and align all of the diversity initiatives on campus and ensure that we are building a supportive place for everyone, as I've indicated before. Some of the other people that are on the panel today will work with you more directly, but we're always there to work with our students as well. In fact, we're located on the second floor of the administration building, primarily because we want to be accessible, and so we're always there for you. We work with many partners like Dr. Jamie Patton and many others on campus who also have a vision, and their work revolves around diversity, equity, and inclusion. These individuals want to make sure that Cal Poly is a place where everyone feels that they can thrive, that they can learn, that they can grow and be their best selves. We know that when we have that diversity, it's going to make a difference in terms of the kind of a learning environment we create. And that's why it's so important to us. We know that our workforce is becoming more diverse. And in order for us to prepare you to go out and live and work in a diverse environment, it's important for us to give you the skills so that you'll be successful in that environment. That requires understanding cultural differences, being able to communicate interculturally, being able to lead individuals from various backgrounds and various experiences. We know that problem solving and creativity is greatly improved with more diversity, especially in group learning. So we know that we're enriching our environment by having diversity on our campus. And we have a learn by doing philosophy. You've heard of that probably before. And so practicing what you're learning about diversity in an environment becomes very, very important and very much a part of learn by doing. We do have one program that's really, that I want to tell you about that's critically important in terms of more direct student work. Our Beacon program involves mentoring. Faculty give up of their time and receive a small stipend, as do students, to engage in mentoring activities with students and assist them in becoming involved in research. Undergraduate research is really important because it gives you a leg up on if you're planning to go to graduate school, and many of our mentees do go on to graduate school. But I just want to end by saying that there are many, many opportunities for you here at Cal Poly. And, you know, there's many clubs, activities, and initiatives that you can be involved in. This is a place where if you want to be a leader, you can be a leader and learn how to be a great leader so that when you leave Cal Poly, you can have an influence in your world. So again, I welcome you, and I'm so glad to have been able to share a little bit about me and the Office of University Diversity and Inclusion.
Thank you so much, Dr. De Leon. We appreciate you sharing that with us as well. And our next panelist up is Eileen Beaker, Executive Director of Career Services.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad to connect with you virtually. I oversee the Career Services Office for Cal Poly students and alumni. We are a 20-member strong team, and we work with all students, all majors, as early as your first year. So to echo what Jamie was talking about, we have a freshman focus team. I have 3 career counselors that will work with you through orientation until you become a sophomore. And they're working with you on self-assessment, career exploration, majors, even internship search, resume writing, and job search if you're ready for that. I also have a career counselor for each college. So once you become a sophomore, you would work with your college designated career counselor until you graduate, as well as after you graduate, because we provide lifetime alumni access to our office for free. Before I go on, I see there's a chart about the outcomes of our graduates. So I'm going to cover that, and I'll go more into detail about career services and how we can support you in achieving your dreams, which is very, very important to us. But I would like to let you know that there is a very, very strong return on investment with your Cal Poly degree. You worked really, really hard to get to Cal Poly. You'll have learned by doing integrated in all your classes, in your leadership opportunities in the community. It's very real, it's very alive, and it's a point of pride for our graduates, and our employer partners are very, very much interested in you as a graduate. 93% of our students get a job, internship, fellowship, or graduate school opportunity within 9 months of graduation. 79 to 80% of those students actually get their opportunity before they walk through graduation, which is very exciting. 95% of our students find positions related to their major. Again, that's a key data point, since most of you, or you're all choosing your major before you come to Cal Poly. So yeah, that's a chart. And I can later, when I'm done speaking, I will write the link to our graduate status reports, and you can go back to the graduation year of 2000 to see what our alumni are doing in the job market. So yeah, so that's the outcomes. But to get you there, again, I want to go back to, we have a freshman focus team to support you. We have a career counselor per college. I also have a really strong employer relations team that are doing job development, nurturing the employer relationships, organizing 10 signature career fairs throughout the year, organizing on-campus interviews, information sessions, etc. And we have contacts with 25,000 companies across the nation. We typically get up to 4,000 employer reps that come to campus to connect with you on campus. And then we also organize events to take you off campus to visit employers. And again, that starts your first year, and we work with you all the way to your senior year, helping you formulate your goals, looking at how you want to apply your major in the world of work. And career services is not just for jobs and internships. We also coach you at graduate school studies. We average about 16% of our graduates go straight on to graduate school. That number increases after students graduate, but straight from graduation is about 16%. I have an awesome team that collectively and independently are very, very committed to student success. My team often tells me, I mean, just get them in the door, come to the office, and we can help them achieve their goals and dreams. So I can assure you in word and deed and learn by doing, we're committed to you in actualizing all your goals and dreams. So yeah, that's an overview. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eileen. I know it's so important for so many students and families to hear about that return on investment and career opportunities for after they graduate. All right, so next up we have a financial aid counselor, Adrienne Garcia-Specht, who is also the Cal Grant Program Manager.
Hi everyone, buenas tardes. I hope y'all can hear me good and that everyone's doing well and is healthy. Also, we can see some of you, and I really appreciate those that turned on their cameras. It's nice to see your faces. As Mandy said, I'm a financial aid counselor, and just to get some of the housekeeping out of the way, we are fully operating right now remotely, and you should email us at financialaid@calpoly.edu if you have any questions. And I'm going to go through and answer a lot of things during the Q&A, but to tell you a little bit about myself, I was a first-generation college student. I grew up locally in Grover Beach, and then I went away to school at Syracuse University, all the way across the country. Honestly, I wanted to get far, far away from here. And then I came back because it snows there and I did not want to deal with that. And truly, San Luis Obispo and the 5 cities where I live right now are wonderful places to live and work. And I'm so happy that I made the decision to come back here. And I've been at Cal Poly about 4 years. Prior to that, I was working at Allen Hancock College and Cuesta College in the writing centers and teaching English. So shout out to all my Hancock and Cuesta students there and all transfer students. To tell you a little bit about financial aid. So our office is here to help you navigate how you're going to pay for college and some of the resources that are available to you and your families and your supporters. We are here to answer all your questions and kind of break down your financial aid award for you, so we can crunch some of the numbers for you. I will tell you that oftentimes Cal Poly is very, very doable. We just have to kind of have a plan for it, and that's what our office is there for you to figure out. And so all of you, if you did your FAFSA or your California DREAM Act application, you will see a financial aid award in your portal. Most of our scholarships have gone out, all the major ones have. And in future years when you're a student, you're gonna have the opportunity to apply for scholarships, but just be aware that you did not have to submit any kind of application this year. So nobody missed any steps. I know that's a big concern. And I also want to talk about sort of the uncertainty right now that's going on. I understand that there's sometimes a lot of changes with families, given the circumstances that our society is experiencing right now. And just know that if you've experienced that, our financial aid office can review any of that starting in June. If there's been changes in employment for your parents, we can definitely take a look at that in June, and then potentially revise that financial aid that's available to you. There was a mention of jobs on campus. We do have a federal work study program. So if federal work study is on your award, then you will have access to some federal work study jobs. If federal work study isn't, there's tons of jobs on campus. There's so many jobs, a lot of them that you can do that are specific to your major, working in graphic design and whatever it might be. And then there's like a host of all kinds of things to sort of appeal to what you might want to be doing on campus. Although I often tell students there are jobs in winter and spring quarter, so you might want to wait to get settled into the rhythm of the quarter for fall, and then don't be worried that there's going to be a lack of jobs in the future terms. One other thing I just wanted to mention is I know when I was a student, as a first-gen student, my parents never called anybody. It was always me dealing with everything. But if your parents and supporters want to talk to us, the financial aid office, just make sure you've given them authorization on the portal. It's called FERPA, and we can't talk to your parents without your permission. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But with this authorization, you can give anybody you want permission to speak to us, so we can kind of break down your financial aid package with them if you want us to, but we can't talk about your grades, so that's one thing, and we can't talk about who you're dating or anything like that, so don't worry about that. We're just going to be talking about financial aid, but I'm more curious to get questions from you and see what's kind of on your mind right now. So I'll be watching the chat, and when we do the Q&A, I'm sure I'll be able to answer more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adrian. That was a great intro, and I know, again, financial aid is also such an important topic to all of our students and families, so thank you for that. All right, and our last but not least, we have an alumnus, a graduate of Cal Poly, Miguel Rios, who has a bachelor's degree in Spanish from 2017.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, like Mandy said, my name is Miguel Rios. I graduated from Cal Poly in 2017 with my Bachelor of Arts in Spanish. Currently, I'm working for the Office of Admissions at Cal Poly as an admissions officer. And honestly, for me, one of the biggest strengths that really attracted me to Cal Poly was its learn by doing philosophy, its motto. And I'll be honest, at first, I didn't really know what learn by doing may look like, especially within a major inside the College of Liberal Arts. But by the time I graduated, I had so many opportunities to really apply everything I was learning in class. Probably one of the most fun things I got to do as a Spanish major was help one of the local companies in downtown SLO translate their website to Spanish. So that helped me a lot with translating skills, but it also helped me with networking. I got to meet important people in the area, so that was really cool for me. Another opportunity I had was working with the local elementary school, which was a bilingual school. So I got to work with some of the K through 5 students at Pacheco Elementary School with ESL classes, with tutoring, math, science, reading, writing. And it gave me an opportunity to work with these bilingual students. And I also got the opportunity to work with their celebration of Dia del Niño. So I got to work with Spanish-speaking families and really bond with them and help them see that their student, who may be a first-generation student, can go to Cal Poly, can go to college. And so that was that was probably one of the biggest strengths from Cal Poly's Spanish major for me. And that actually is what led me to go into grad school after Cal Poly. So that's the other thing about Cal Poly, is that it not only prepares you well enough to go into the workforce right after college, but it also prepares you to go into graduate school. So if you want to do that route, there are plenty of classes that help you with research methodologies to really prepare you for grad school as well. So whatever path you choose, whether you want to go straight into the workforce or you want to go into grad school, Cal Poly really will prepare you well enough for whichever path you choose. But yeah, if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask them as well.
All right, thank you so much for sharing about your experience, Miguel. As a graduate of Cal Poly, we appreciate that. All right, so now it is the time that you've all been waiting for. We are gonna go ahead and transition into our live panel. So I see that the chat room is filling up with questions, so awesome job to all of my students getting all of your questions in there. We have our admissions representatives working so hard to try and answer everyone's questions. But we are gonna go ahead and start with a few questions that we feel would apply to most of the students that are asking tonight. So let me go ahead and start with our first kind of general Q&A for our panelists. So the first question is, what resources are available for first generation students? And so maybe we can start with Adrian and kind of move through anyone else who would like to add on resources there.
Yeah, so some of the resources that are available include the Cal Poly Scholars Program, which if you have been admitted to that, you've received some communication, and you can see that in your financial aid package, as well as EOP. That has also actually gone out today and a little bit trickling in tomorrow. So you may want to check out your financial aid package again today as we've posted those awards. And what those programs do, especially EOP, it's a great place to form a community, and that's really important as a first generation college student. You want to find your people, and you want to get connected to the people on campus who can help you succeed. There are a lot of us, but you need to find them, and EOP makes that really easy. In addition to Cal Poly, to EOP, there's Cal Poly Scholars, which is again a great opportunity to form a community that's really that's really focused on working together. And also when you're living on campus, if you're living on campus, you have an opportunity to live in a learning community, and that's another place where you can kind of find other people that have similar interests, majors. If you're EOP, Cal Poly Scholars, it's a great opportunity to kind of form those bonds. And honestly, that's a huge part of the resources element, is creating those spaces for students. I'd also, in terms of spaces, I'd also want to mention the Dream Center, which is available to our undocumented students. That's a great resource for in terms of finding a space where you can feel comfortable and getting connected with advisors, career services, financial aid, and getting a lot of specialized attention. I'm sure others can add to that.
Thank you, Adrian. Does anyone else want to contribute some extra resources?
Yeah, this is Eileen again from Career Services. So we serve all students, and we actually have a group of my counselors and employer relations folks that are a group that do targeted programming for first generation students. Also on campus, last November, it was our first annual university-wide first generation student celebration. And there was a lot of activities, but also providing good information to help the first generations just acclimate to everything about college, job search, internship search, academics, etc.
Thank you so much, Eileen, for sharing that. That was really exciting. I thought that was so neat that our campus hosted that first generation student day, last year. That was really, really amazing. Does anyone else have any additional resources they wanted to add in before we move on to question 2? All right, I think we are good to go. So we will go ahead and move on to our second question. What is the best way for incoming students to adjust from high school to college? So I think this would be a great opportunity for our current student to go ahead and share his experience, and maybe our alumnus as well. Juan, would you like to share a little bit about your transition?
Yes, absolutely. So at first it was being a first generation student, I had no idea what it was like, what I was going into. So I kind of had no expectations in a way because there was no one to tell me what to expect or what to how to go into it. But so I just kind of threw myself in there. It was kind of, I'm going to be honest, it was a little rough for me just because of how different the community is to the community I grew up in. But um, what definitely helped was, I think it was mentioned in the chat as well, Slow Days and WOW, Week of Welcome, which is where you're connected with, you're with a group of students as you're like touring campus and you're um, trying to experience different events or activities that you could do in the community. So that kind of helped just create a network of friends that I have, people that I can hang out with, or people that I can rely on. So that's kind of where it all started. And then from there, since I had that base of people that I knew, I just kind of started building off relationships from that. I used the resources on campus. Like I've used the financial aid office to work out scholarship problems or stuff like that, or FAFSA. I've been to the advising center for advice on like academics and stuff. And that's really helped because I had no idea how to do anything when I started, as most people don't, just because it's all new. But just using all these services and having these different people that I can talk to really helped for me to understand what I was going to do, the process of just being in college and how to navigate through it. So I would definitely say just like that network of friends that I created during WOW and living in the dorms, and then the resources that I used definitely helped me transition from high school into college.
Thank you so much. Miguel, did you have anything to add for that?
I think for me, sorry, for me, the adjustment was mostly being away from family, but you're pretty much able to find that within your first year. It may not happen quickly, but it will happen. And just being willing to try new things, go to clubs and all that, and really be flexible with all of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I can add from a programmatic and or student affairs. Just know that we are very much aware of the transition and very much aware of the changes that are happening with you, not only academically, but socially. So starting with programs like Slow Days that will be happening in July and August, to Week of Welcome, to the CrossCultural Experience, to the programs that will be happening in the residence halls. They're all different ways to meet you where you are with regard to how you choose to build the network and how you choose to build the community that surrounds you. You will find that there are, again, many opportunities. If you're into sports, we have fall sports that you can go attend and cheer on your fellow Mustangs. If you are into the cultural and or into the arts, there are ways for you to get involved in the Cross Cultural Center. But more than anything else, what I would encourage you to do is just find what fits and find what you are interested in, and then take that first step. It might not happen the first time. It may not happen the second time you go out to a club or organization, a meeting, or you go to a different event on campus. But the more you show up and the more that you're willing to put your toe in the water, the better and the stronger community you will find. And I have no doubt about that. When I think about, again, the 400 clubs and organizations that we host on this campus, we have so many opportunities for you to find your niche and find your opportunity to connect outside of the classroom. Again, our faculty are amazing. We have peer mentoring programs in many of the different offices that continue to grow. So again, it's all about you finding and creating your own Mustang experience, and know that we will be here in the programming, everything that we have going on, down to the dining halls. They're designed to help you create community. So you just got to trust the process.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patton. That was amazing. I love that. I think it's so important to really talk to students about building community and finding their home away from home once they get to college for the first time. So thank you for that. And then our next question that we have here is, what sets Cal Poly apart from other CSU campuses? So this might be a good one for you as well, Dr. Patton or Dr. De Leon, if you want to talk about that more at the system level. How does Cal Poly differ from the rest of the CSUs, or maybe even the other UCs as well?
Well, I can start from my perspective. I think, and this is just my perspective, I truly think that we are the premier residential campus of the CSU. When you think about our 22 sister institutions, we are the campus where, again, we are within your time frame, our first and second year students will be living on campus. So we're creating a cocoon and a network for you to achieve, to exceed, to thrive. And to really become truly connected to this place. Many of you are local, but you'll see that, or from the region or SLO County, but you'll see that our students are coming from across the nation and around the world. And it's a unique place to be because we are 3 hours away from both LA and San Francisco, the Bay Area. So we have a unique opportunity for you to truly make this your home away from home. That I don't think there are a few CSUs that have a good number of residential students, but I think that we're the premier residential campus of the CSU. And with that, you're going to have the attention, the focus. And when you think about things like love, empathy, respect, that is a motto that many of our faculty and staff have committed to make sure that we're working. And when a student comes to work with us, we're working and handling them with love, empathy, and respect. So I think this is a unique place within the CSU. Our academics are second to none. But I think it's truly the community that we're able to create because we're a residential campus.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patton, for giving that overview of Cal Poly versus other systems. Does anyone else have anything to add to that?
Well, I wanted to add something. I think, I came from another state and I came to Cal Poly, and because I was so impressed with the quality of the faculty, the staff, and the students on this campus. I've never seen anything like it. I think that in most campuses, students kind of, get lost, quite frankly. I don't feel that at Cal Poly. I think that the learn by doing philosophy and way of learning at Cal Poly sets us apart from every institution, including those institutions that claim to do learn by doing, but learn by doing started at Cal Poly, and we are the standard with which everybody else tries to compete. You will, I mean, it's not just about sitting in a lecture hall and getting information thrown at you. It really is about participatory learning, where you're learning, you're taking in information, you're using the information that you are picking up in projects, in service learning, and in what you're doing for your classes. It provides a whole different experience that I mean, I will tell you, I'll be quite honest with you. I loved my college experience, but it was nothing like that, in that there wasn't the same kind of interactive experience with what I was getting in classes. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you so much, Dr. De Leon, for sharing some more about Cal Poly and just the distinction that we have here on our campus. And so we do have a couple of other questions rolling in. I love all of the questions.
Mandy, can I add something to that really quick?
Oh yeah, of course, Adrian.
Yeah, I really appreciated that Josie said something about students not getting lost. So at some really large institutions, it's easy for students to get lost. And I think about how Cal Poly and its staff and faculty are really good at making connections with students. There's not a day that goes by where a faculty member doesn't call, and nowadays it's email, and say, hey, I've been working with this student and they had some questions. Can you answer it for them? or they talked about having some challenges. Can you chat with them about it? And then I'll call somebody else to connect them, maybe connect a student to the transfer center where they can get a lot of hands-on experiences there, to talk to somebody. And it's like we're always working together across our campus to help any one particular student. So you will not get lost on this campus, because somebody is going to reach out to you from all kinds of angles.
Absolutely. Thank you for adding that, Adrian. It's so true. At Cal Poly, you just feel like it's one big family. Like you are always running into people that you know. There's always someone that can help you out or point you in the right direction. And let's see, our next question here that I have is, it's a really quick one, just are freshmen allowed to bring cars? So we'll go ahead and see if Miguel, can you address that really quickly?
Yeah, so unfortunately, freshmen can't bring cars to campus, but Cal Poly does provide free access to the city bus, which comes in really, really handy throughout all 4 years, not just your first year. And it really gets you around San Luis Obispo pretty fast, and it's very reliable. So I managed to not have a car all 4 years while I was at Cal Poly, and it was not a big deal for me. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, transportation is pretty easy. Lots of bike paths, free, bus system, and Amtrak station right on campus. So students, you won't even miss it your first year not having a car. So, all right, next question here, trying to get as many of these answered as we can. This is one that I think applies to pretty much everyone. What is school spirit like? What are some of the best traditions / events that Cal Poly has? So maybe our current student can start us off with this one.
Okay, I really thought about that.
Painting the P.
Yes.
Our giant P. That's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, I don't know what I thought about that. Yeah, so we have this tradition of where we have this trail that leads to the P on the mountain right behind the residence halls. And there's tradition that depending on the month or yes, what we're like celebrating or honoring that month, we painted a different color. Like we painted in, I think, is it in May or April for Pride? One of those two. And it just kind of changes depending on the month. But that's one of the big traditions that we have. One day it's white, and then the next day you look out and it's like yellow or orange or purple. So, but yeah, in terms of spirit, I know one of the things that, not necessarily with school, but just with like your life, with like life as a student, is like just like taking a walk or taking a hike is one of the things that a lot of us like to do, especially for like our graveyard, which is this trail that leads to one of the mountain areas right where the campus is on. It leads you to this open area where architecture students build or used to build like kind of like little buildings for their projects. You have like, it's pretty interesting to go there. You have some of them build like little houses, or one of them's like, looks like a kind of like the front of a ship or stuff like that. But it's really fun there. That's one of the things we like to do. I think I don't know if there's anything else, but that's all I can remember right now.
I was on mute there. Thanks.
I can speak to that. I can speak to that. In my years, I mean, I think we have some cool traditions, for everything from the Mustang Mile to different things that happen in the spring quarter. But one of the things that I'm hopeful to always, I'm just an advocate, and I love our Mott Magic. So Mott is our athletic center in the central campus, where our women's volleyball team and our basketball teams compete. Our wrestling team competes in there. And it's just an electric place that I wish more students took advantage of, where you're able to support Cal Poly athletics, your fellow Mustangs that are in the class with you in a competitive way. We have some great athletic teams. I think our basketball teams both are heading in the right direction. I can't say enough about our women's volleyball team. So Mott Magic is a tradition and or just a spot on the center of our campus that I wish more students, faculty, and staff surrounded and participated in.
That's awesome. Thank you, Dr. Patton. Anyone else want to throw anything in there before we move on to the next question? All right, so we will move on to the next one. It is how well we register for classes fall quarter. So who wants to take this on? Maybe Miguel, you want to jump in on that?
Sorry, what was the question?
Miguel, no, I'm just kidding. So the next question is, how will we register for classes fall quarter?
Yeah, so for first-time freshmen, you actually get blocked into schedules your first quarter. So that just means that your advisors will choose your classes. And for the most part, it's usually courses in your majors. Some will be support and some will be general education courses. And it's really so that you are on track your first quarter at Cal Poly, so that you are in all the required courses that you need to graduate on time. And then as your first year goes by, I believe your second quarter, your winter quarter, your advisor will block you into half your schedule and you get to choose the rest of the classes. And so that kind of gives you more flexibility with the types of classes you want to do. But as a first-time freshman, yeah, you will be blocked into your you'll be blocked into your class schedule your first quarter, and you should get that schedule in around August, I believe.
Awesome. Thank you, Miguel. Yeah, and I believe they're moving towards even trying to block you into the whole first year. And just to add into that, our Mustang Success Center has an amazing freshman focus team. So they are your first stop shop for any questions you may have about majors, minors, anything that you need to be directed to on campus. Our Mustang Success Center is awesome. And students, if you're wondering where that schedule is going to appear, you'll see it on your portal in mid-August. So I know we had someone ask about the date. All right, so next question we have is, I'm coming from a bigger city. What's it like going to school in a college town?
It's what you make it. I'm sorry to jump in, but growing up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I think it's the 5th largest city in the country. It is definitely a unique experience in that be surrounded by individuals who are like-minded. So when you think about the distractions that come from being in a big city, many of those distractions will be removed. And you will be able to truly focus on your academics. You'll have a network and you'll have folk around you who want to see you succeed, and those students who are on that same path. When you think about the quarter system, it moves by so quickly. So when you think about it, only having 10 weeks in a class, by the 3rd week, you're starting to talk about midterms. So you need to have that focus. We have all the amenities, both on campus and off campus, of many large major cities. Now, is it always the most convenient? It's not, but again, your focus for the next 4 years and your time at Cal Poly is to get your degree, get your credentials, to help opportunities to help propel you to a place where you can support your family and your loved ones. So it is definitely a different experience. But at the same time, if you manage your time well, you'll have time to spend time. You'll have time to spend with family, either electronically or your friends electronically via FaceTime or other mechanisms. You'll have opportunities to really, in some ways, get to know yourself on a different level, because again, the opportunities are different. While we have one movie theater, it's downtown, so you'll have to do that. And really, the cool, quirky things about living in a small town, like coming from Philly, you know, the thought of a farmer's market, it was like, what? But at the same time, going down there every week during the summer and sometimes sporadically throughout the year, it's definitely a unique experience to Cal Poly that not many other schools can offer around the country. So it can be a challenge, but it's what you make of it. Any school that you go to, you're going to have to figure out how to create that best self, how to create your best self, and focus in on the task at hand, and it's getting your credentials and bettering yourself. And I can't think of a better place than to do it here at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo.
And I think
I would like to add, just because, okay, I'm going to give you a small town person's perspective. I came from a really small town, and you know, I think that, first of all, Cal Poly is located in an area that is so incredibly beautiful. There, people come here to vacation, and so you have that. You have you've heard some of the you know, some of the beaches, about some of the beaches and other things that there are to do in the area. But the other thing I think, and more importantly, is that because it's a college town, it's about the students. The community is about the students, which means that people cater to you as a student. You feel welcomed in the community. There's plenty of things to do. I mean, it's not a small town without, you know, all the great places that you want to hang out and be with your friends at. So there's a lot here. And yes, you know, it will feel different, but it's a great different as far as I'm concerned. I came from a big city, not quite as big as Philly, but I came from a big city before I came to Cal Poly, and I just think it's like the best community. It really is.
And I think in addition to the great downtown and the great SLO community, you also have a really vibrant campus life. Honestly, you won't have that much time to be going everywhere all the time necessarily, especially if you get yourself involved in some programs like the CrossCultural Centers. So the CrossCultural Centers is home to the Gender Equity Program, Men and Masculinities, the Pride Center, and the Multicultural Center. And here's where I see really strong groups of students who form a really strong bond with each other and friendships and connections. So then they're hanging out in that cross-cultural center, in the multicultural center all day, every day. I walk past to get my Starbucks and I see the same students there all day, just hanging out, sometimes studying, but mostly hanging out. And so it's easy to build a life on campus in addition to some of the stuff that's around town. And I've already mentioned the Dream Center, we have the Black Academic Excellence Center, we have the Transfer Center, the Veteran Center. There's a lot of places on campus that form these pockets of community where you can have a lot of events on campus where you're kind of doing things with your groups of people.
So I can chime in on two of the questions that actually came through. I think they delve in together. And I think Adrienne, she actually hit the nail on the head with our cross-cultural centers. But one of the question that Litzy asked was, do students experience a lot of culture shock when arriving on campus? I'm just going to be very honest with you. Yes, all of our students experience some level of culture shock. While I consider us a very diverse campus, sometimes it's hard to see that diversity because there is so few African-American students or students that identify as Native American or LGBT students. So there are many small pockets of community. So, but even our white students, I say, experience some sort of culture shock because of just the experience of San Luis Obispo coming from a large community to a small community that are much more diverse than this community in which we're in. So, and that's very normal. That's very normal. Even new faculty, new staff members, we have orientation programs just like you all to help aid us in the shock of moving to the community. And that's no different from, this is just going to prepare you for when you move into the real world, when you go into a new job in a new city, in a new place, a new space. It's going to prepare you to be able to code switch and be able to make connections no matter where you are. So I don't see culture shock as a bad thing, but it's a valuable tool to help you as you navigate a new experience. So with that, do students of color, do they feel small on our campus? I would hope not, but some may say they do. We have a budding cross-cultural center. We're building and/or we're creating new additional services. Our Black Academic Excellence Center has been in operation for nearly 10 years. Our Dream Center, nearly 3 years. We just opened up a transfer center. So again, as we hear feedback from students, we're providing the programs and the services. And unfortunately, it may not happen right away, but we hear you. And by hearing you, we're going to focus our energy and work with you to make those things happen. So there's some things that have been advocated for the last several years that unfortunately some of our senior students won't see, but they planted the seed, and students like yourself that are coming in, you will have the opportunity to help cultivate that seed and define what that means, not only for your generation, but the students that come behind you. So again, it all ties back to the experience that you create, and you get to create that Mustang experience here at Cal Poly.
Yep. And I think the slow days, which we'll do in the summer, the orientation programs, and then the week of welcome, which happens right before you start the quarter in the fall, are really great ways to kind of ease into the culture of Cal Poly and kind of get to know everybody and make some friends. And I think the important thing is that if when you come to campus, to understand, as Dr. Patton said, that it is very normal to feel a little bit of a culture shock, and that's going to happen to you wherever you are, because college life is so different from your community college and so different from your high school life, and that's okay, as long as you know that there are a lot of resources and people on campus that you can come to and say, like, I'm feeling really weird, I'm really homesick. That's going to hit you that third week. It's going to, even if you're from Santa Maria, it's going to feel like a totally different world at Cal Poly sometimes, but understand that we are really there to support you through those moments, and we can point you in the direction of any of the great campus resources, including clubs. We haven't even mentioned that we have like 300 clubs or something. I don't even know, it's probably low. 300 clubs for every kind of interest for you. And I really recommend that you get into that in your first few weeks here.
Thank you so much for that, Adrian. That was very insightful. And just to add on to that, students, I think it's important to remember that you're never alone. You have a huge family, a huge support network here, the Mustang family, to support you, including all of us here today. So just know that we are here as a support system for you. All right, so as much as we would love to hang out with you all night, we know that we got to respect everyone's time and schedule. So we are going to close it out with one last question / comment from our panelists. So panelists, I always like to end it on, can you share a little bit with our students about what is your favorite aspect of Cal Poly? Why should they consider choosing Cal Poly over all, the other amazing institutions out there? What would you say to them? And we'll start with Miguel.
Yeah, so for me, it was definitely that small class size feel throughout all of the classes I had at Cal Poly. It really gave me that opportunity to get to know the professor, for the professor to get to know me, instead of just being a random number in a large lecture hall. So that to me was one of the first things I noticed when I was touring Cal Poly, and it was definitely one of the most beneficial things coming out of Cal Poly.
Awesome, thank you. And then we'll have Dr. Patton share next.
Wow, so one thing that I love about Cal Poly is that's the question, right?
Yeah.
If I had to pick one thing, that's hard. I mean, that's hard. I mean, just the institution itself, Cal Poly, it embodies so many things, both inside the classroom and outside the classroom. But okay, so the one thing is that how everybody, from academic affairs to student affairs to a corporation, we really want to center the student experience. We want to make sure that you know that you belong. We want to make sure that we're getting out of the way so that you can thrive, no matter who you are, how you identify. That's a lot. I can't just put it on one thing, but that's how I'll respond.
Awesome, thank you, Dr. Patton. And then we'll have Adrian go next.
The first thing I thought of was actually the wild turkeys on campus.
Yes.
There's these wild turkeys and they hang out near building 1. And yes, they will chase students, which is not great, but a little humorous. And but honestly, it's such a beautiful campus. When I walk onto the campus, I always feel so grateful to be working there because of the people, but also it's hard to not appreciate the rolling hills and the blue sky all the time. I really love that. It's so beautiful there. And as a last word from financial aid, I actually didn't get that many questions, so that's great that you're feeling confident about it. But if you think of some, please feel free to email the financial aid office at financialaid@calpoly.edu. Honestly, whatever questions you have, email us. We will walk you through it and maybe set up an appointment with a financial aid counselor via Zoom like this, or or a phone call with you or your supporter or parent. So please don't hesitate. If you like literally want a breakdown, we will walk you through everything. So please give us a call. And that's another favorite thing. Everyone on this campus is very available to students, and there's no question that we won't know the answer to. We'll find that answer for you, and there's no question that you shouldn't ask if you have any. Thank you though for being here.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. Appreciate that. And Dr. De Leon, if you'd like to go next.
Sure, thank you. I think if I have to narrow it down to one thing, there's many, many things that I love about Cal Poly, but I think one thing is the fact that there is always activity. The UU, which is where students congregate, is always full of activity, students coming and going. There are, events, there are, all kinds of things going on. There's a time called the UU hour where everybody comes out. There's expectation that there's something going on during UU hour. And so it's just a fun campus, and that's just the best way I can describe it.
I love that. Yeah, I totally agree. All right, next person, Eileen, if you would like to share with us as well.
I would say I call it the Cal Poly smile. So you can see it in the photos, those big grins. And I see it at our career fairs, our networking events with both students and alumni. I can always find a Cal Poly alum. I'll ask them, oh, did you go to Cal Poly? And it's this big smile. There's so much pride, happiness, joy, and commitment about being part of Cal Poly. And the community and the education that they received. So yeah, I would say the Cal Poly smile. Yeah.
I love that. That is such a good one. Thanks, Eileen, for sharing that. And then last but not least, our current student, Juan, if you could share a little bit with us as well, that would be awesome.
So the first thing that came to mind was kind of the classroom community that is created, just because, like was mentioned before, it is a small classroom, max of like most classes are a max of 30 students, and at least in my experience, that the class that I've had. And I honestly love the fact that teachers are there to be, professors are there to be teachers and not like doing research as compared to other universities. So they're there for you, for your education, to guide you through your class and through your curriculum. So I definitely love the support that a lot of professors and faculty give to the students, just because there's a plenty of it. It always just amazes me how they're willing to help, and it makes you feel safe and it makes you feel part of a greater community. And that's honestly one of the best things that I love about Cal Poly, is just that sense of community that's created by everyone.
That is so awesome to hear, especially from a current student. Thank you so much, Juan, for sharing that as well. So thank you to all of our panelists. You did such an amazing job just sharing about Cal Poly, and all of your knowledge and experience is so valuable. So thank you for being here. And for our students, we'll go ahead and close it out by once again just saying congratulations. We do want to give you a few quick dates and deadlines to remember. The biggest one is May 1st. So we hope that after tonight that you feel really comfortable and confident about Cal Poly, and hopefully you want to come join the Mustang family. And if you do that, you just need to make sure to accept that offer by May 1st. And the great thing is that it is free to do. A lot of universities will charge you a fee to hold your spot, but Cal Poly does not do that. You can actually accept your offer of admission for $0. So definitely go do that tonight if you have time. Log into your portal and just click on that I accept button. The next one is May 7th. We have our housing and orientation registration available for students who have accepted their offer. So give it about a day or so to refresh once you click I accept. And then when you log into your portal, you'll see an orientation events tab, and then also a money matter, or I'm sorry, you already have the money matters tab to view your financial aid, but you're gonna have orientation events and then housing that gets added in there. So you can actually apply for housing and orientation, which is a two-part program slow days, which is during July or August. You get to choose 2-day program that fits your schedule, and the sooner you choose it, the more options you'll have. So we really recommend doing that sooner than later, but by May 7th at the latest. And then Wow Week, Week of Welcome, is the second part to our orientation, which happens in mid-September. So Wow Week is actually on September 13th through 20th. So just keep an eye out for the orientation and housing, and make sure to submit that on time. And then also our new student move-in is September 11th and 12th. So mark your calendars for moving into Cal Poly's campus on those dates. And then our first official day of classes is September 17th. So just keep all of those dates in mind. And then last but not least, if for some reason we didn't answer your question tonight, we apologize for that, but we want to make sure you get your question answered. So please feel free to contact any of us. At this time, if our panelists feel comfortable, if you could enter your email and your name and contact info in the chat, that would be highly appreciated. Students, you're welcome to contact myself if you have any questions, Mandy Martin, or any of our panelists that were here tonight with any questions you may have, and we will absolutely get back to you and make sure you get those questions answered. So with that being said, our last thing we wanted to mention is that we have actually inputted very important documents for housing, orientation, financial aid, really helpful documents that I highly recommend all of our newly admitted students download. Once you close the chat, those documents will disappear. So make sure to open our chat box and download all of those documents. And we'll go ahead and leave this meeting open for about another 5 minutes or so to give everybody time to download all of those documents and to take a little screenshot or take a photo on your phone of all of that contact info so that you can reach out to us as well. So with that being said, thank you so much for being here. And again, congratulations to all of our newly admitted students. We hope to see you in the fall.